Hello everybody. Before we begin, let me introduce myself briefly. I'm Lily from TATT. Today I'm going to be talking about El Nino and La Nina, two opposing weather patterns in the Pacific Ocean. I'll begin by outlining the normal conditions, and then I'll go on to highlight El Nino and La Nina. And finally, I'll briefly discuss their effects, later moving on to the quiz. So now I'll talk about normal conditions, which is how things are supposed to be working. So this is the whole map. So there are trade winds blowing from southern America toward Asia. So the warm water from here moves to Asia. And then to replace this water, upwelling happens, and the cold water goes up to replace this water. Now I'll talk about El Nino, which is also known as little boy. Now El Nino happens when the trade winds between Southern America and Asia gets weaker. Now in this case, warm water doesn't really go there, and so upwelling doesn't really happen. And now I'll talk about La Nina, which is the opposite of El Nino, and it is a little girl. Now this is opposite from El Nino. So this happens when the trade winds get stronger than usual. So much more warm water moves. And this leads to replace this huge amount of water. There are a lot of upwelling happening, and even more cold water rises. Now we'll talk about their effects, how El Nino and La Nina affects the world. So if you see the weather, Southern America becomes drier and warmer, and in Asia it becomes wetter and colder during El Nino. And if you see the marine life, Southern America will have fewer nutrients in the water, since the cold water that rises from upwelling has a lot of nutrients such as phytoplankton. So this affects the fish that eat phytoplankton, then affecting everything that eats fish. It can also bring tropical creatures that used to live in warm waters, since the water gets unusually warm. Now this is the effects of La Nina. If you see the weather, the Southern America gets a drought, and Asia gets flooding. If you see the marine life, Southern America gets more nutrients since there are more cold water, and it also attracts cold water species such as squid, salmon, etc. Now this is the quiz. You can choose between true or false. Now the first question is, Southern America turns drier and warmer when an El Nino happens.
Yeah, true.
Yes, it is true. And El Nino means little girl.
False.
True.
And El Nino happens when the trade winds get weaker.
False.
You're good at this. Upwelling cold water is full of nutrients.
False. True.
저는 상대적으로 true.
2대2 맞춘 거 맞죠?
This is true. Because I said that the cold water has more nutrients and it is nutrient rich. Now this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Okay, excellent.